Htx. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. Cause I'm always snapping, never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down, killing competition. I'm smacking down, let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop. Cause they cutting up, it's retro, coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hanna. You can catch the Chop Shop live 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
Welcome to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. Yours truly, Jim Hicks, filling in, of course, Robert Haller's on location at the Texas Southern Luncheon. You notice the big Labor Day Classic is taking place this weekend in Houston. TSU versus Prairie View. He's going to call in and join us shortly with updates from the Touchdown Luncheon. It's an annual occurrence. It's a lot of people, they help to build momentum and for this game, which is a rivalry. One of the, not necessarily regarding the potency, but one of the most storied football rivalries in all of HBCU football, and that is Texas Southern and Prairie View. It's always going to be a great week starting on Thursday, which will be tomorrow. They will have festivities going all the way through Monday, Labor Day. And, of course, Chop Shop, we don't do holidays much, so expect to not see us on that Monday. So once Thursday is over, we will get back with you on Tuesday. I'm not going to lie with you guys. First of all, I'll give a shout out to the starting five. That's the first 5 females that join us on the Chop Shop today on this Wednesday. First, and of course, starting at the 1 is Mindy Collins. Shout out to Mindy. How you doing? At the 2, Belinda McDaniel, Joe Johnnican, and hope I pronounced that right. Of course, at the 3, Mate Cora is in the house with us, and those are 3 of the starting 5 as far as females. The rest will be filling in shortly, and we were going to acknowledge them as they come in. That's right. It's Jimmy up on your screen right now. Say my name. Say my name. Let's get this thing pumped. I'm going to need your energy today, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been one hell of a 24-hour span for myself. Without sparing any names, I'm just going to let you guys know, so my energy level is going to hope to keep it as fluctuating above par, at highest above par as possible. But I'm going to share. First of all, I need you guys to share the show. Get with me on that part. Let's get on the same level. If you could share the show to your timelines, right? To your groups, to your pages. Let's give me a share right now, and let's share the Chop Shop. If you do, if you would mind doing so. But I'm gonna let you guys know. This past 24 hours, I had one of my dear friends to experience something that I've never, ever witnessed up close. Been through a lot of tragedies. But this one right here, it has, I've cried so much that whereas I had to put Visine in my eyes because it was hurt burning from rubbing them. I start to wear, I had my dark shades to wear today so that you guys couldn't see my eyes, and I realized I'm not, let's keep this thing moving. But once again, I'm going to need your energy today. Dear friend, his home burned down. Lost everything. But it gets worse. His mother was in the house. And I was one of the first ones to get the call. I had to dash out to his subdivision. And had to endure that. That's one of the most helpless feelings in the world. So this is why, in due time, in due days, we'll share, possibly, the name. But right now, we're gonna refrain because he's pretty popular to a lot of people in Houston, and so that means to respect the privacy of the family right now as they start the process of piecing their life back together again. This is, once again, this is a horrible, horrible situation. Horrible. You lose your house and your mother at the same time on the same day. So, once again, you guys, prayers up. Yeah. So you guys can imagine I'm right there and I'm watching, and just reflects back, so it goes back to the conversation that we often have on the Chop Shop. And I often remind you guys that, number one, what's funny is that reach out, check on your mothers today. Check on your moms if you haven't done so today. Hell, if you don't know what to say, tell them a knock-knock joke or something. But you never know, life is priceless and precious. Number two is, if you guys haven't checked, a lot of people have conditionally programmed to avoid certain things in which it shouldn't be. And that is, I often remind you guys to get insurance, life insurance. I'm late from the Chop Shop today because I was dropping off the car. Remember, I told you guys a story earlier this month, coming back from the camp in Louisiana, and a young girl came over in my lane and hit me, swiped the car. Well, insurance finally accepted responsibility, and I just dropped the car off to the shop and Ubered back to the office to start the Chop Shop. Got half a mile away, train on the track. I say, man, they're testing me today. And then, so here we started off 10 minutes late. But the insurance portion, guys, a lot of our people, because we don't believe in the process, because we probably have so many of our kinfolk that have tried to trick the insurance process, so we think it's a joke. Life insurance is meant to help the transitioning process and to keep family members from going into debt while trying to patch up for your homegoing. What are some of the reasons that our people don't get life insurance? What are some of the reasons? Shout out to Sonia Billingsley. She's starting at the 4 on our Women Rock Wednesday. Just filed in. But what are some of the reasons? Why are so many black folk refrain from getting insurance? And this has nothing to do directly with the story I told you a while ago. They have insurance. So that's why I felt it was comfortable bringing it up. He has insurance. So, hit dogs don't holler there. I'm talking about many of you guys out there that know what I'm talking about. We tend to get $10,000 insurance, just so it cover the funeral. Hell, that don't even cover a funeral anymore. Cover one of them basic ones in the hood. But you notice we get a lot of the white folk, they have been programmed to understand the insurance game, whereas they invest in the lives by getting insurance 6 digits, at least in most cases. Then when a loved one is gone, they sniff a little bit. It helps with the process. Remember, we go in debt when there's a debt. It's not supposed to be that way. So if you haven't obtained life insurance, then consider doing so. I think it's kind of selfish. I really do at this juncture, because we see so many. If you don't, I really feel, part of me feel that way. Especially for those out there that has the social media accounts, and you flossing out there, you making pictures, you doing this, and you living your best lives. Then if tragedy comes into play, then all of your friends, we have to come and go in. Well, I forgot now, we're in a different age now. We're in the GoFundMe age. Then everybody else got to go and suffer or pay for your mistakes. And Hal's right there. He say he's at the classic luncheon. Anissaville, she rounded off our starting 5 today, and she'll be starting at the 5. Anissa, shout out to Anissa. And so we're gonna. So I wanted to get that off my chest, and why it's gonna remain, of course, in my heart for a long time to come, and that is insurance process. Man, get some insurance, man. If anybody's on here an insurance broker, Post your stuff so people can know. You might give somebody a quote. If you're at the Chop Shop and you have one of your insurance buddies or insurance brokers, tag them right now to let them bring their butt into the boom boom room, and they can feel free to do their own work and invest in their own in the expansion of the reach of their particular business. We can get a quote. It's the time. You got to have a grandbaby out there, a daughter, a son. Insurance. You know, and Roy Wells is right. They say life insurance keep conflict down family. No problem with my brother. Arrangements this week. And our condolences to Rod Wells, his brother. And remember, they say deaths come in threes. Shout out to my old classmate from Cashmere High School. I keep her name anonymous, but her grandfather, took care of her. She was a little girl, and he lost a bout with cancer on Saturday night. Their funeral preparations will be this weekend as well. But make sure, once again, tag somebody in the insurance business so we can be proactive and start better late than never getting on top of our business before, while we going and misdemeanor you guys going out there and putting other folks in your business. Put them in your insurance business. Get some coverage. It's time. I mean, for real, man. It's time. So now, let's go. Guess we go around the horn, talk some hoops, and of course, the United States, win again in the World Cup. Beat Jordan by 110-62, Jordan, and in that particular, particular win, USA was up 20 in the first quarter. Anthony Edwards led the way with 22 points in the win. No player, well, there was only one player from USA that played more than 19 minutes, and that was Halliburton. He played 21 minutes while logging 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 points. Jackson and Brunson had 12 and 10 respectively in that blowout win for the USA. But notice a guy like Austin Reeves, all eyes are on him now. Do you think it's more so because he's a Laker? Because he's white? Or neither? Because he's just balling for the USA right now? Because he's a Laker? Because he's white? Because he's just balling? He's receiving a boost in love. Now his role and expectations could be a blessing and a curse, because now going back to the Lakers, you're expecting Austin Reeves to be this consistent as he is with USA basketball. Last night he played 19 minutes, had 8 points. But he was 2 for 4 from the field, from 3-point land. 2 for 4, right? And got that for you right there, and put that out there for Hatter, reminding you guys that where he is today. Curtis George said Austin Reeves is him. Yeah, that's a quote from one of his USA basketball teammates. What does that really mean? It's him. He that dude. That's what that means. Anissa says he's straight up balling. Give him that. Right? Okay. Ken Freeman say he's a Laker and he balling. So Curtis George says as a while ago he is him. Like I say, time will tell. We'll see. One thing about these USA teams, if you didn't notice that in due time, a lot of these guys are the man, first option or second option on their respective NBA teams. When you get all these all-stars together, somebody's going to rise and become an option, first, second, third, fourth option on this particular team. Then others are going to sink down to the bottom end of the rotation. Who are those guys at the bottom end of the rotation? You know? Bottom end of their rotation. Time will tell. Once they get into the real, the gist of this thing in the bracket play, then you'll be able to tell who's first, second, third, fourth option. Who's at the bottom end of their rotation. Doesn't mean they're that good. It just lets you know if you put all those red ants among other red ants, then it lets you know their potency level. Because they've practiced together for a month. Now, they've been together for a month now. So, well, yeah, almost a month. So, yeah, I'm curious to see. Guys like Paulo Banchero, I think he's boosting his worth, his stock, his acceptability rating. We knew Halliburton was a bad man. Halliburton boosting his stock. Remember, these guys here, this whole team, guy, is, if we really keep it a buck, this is not the Olympic team. This is a qualifier team. This is like, these are like some, like, you know, you only have A-level actors, A-list. This is our, these are pretty much, man, exception to maybe two guys. Maybe two. These are B-list actors at best. B-list NBA guys at best. If you had to pick an NBA team right now, remember, they don't try out. If you had to pick some that would just say to make this team right now, just to make up, I mean, not this team, but the Olympic team in advance. Of course, one of these guys will play his way onto the roster without question. One of these guys will, right? And without, Anthony Edwards is one of those guys. He's going to be on the USA Basketball Olympic team. Unless he declines, which I don't see it happening. He's having fun playing basketball. It's fun to him. And it's a business, but it's fun to him. And that's how he was back in high school. We brought him down here for one of our events back when he was a 12th grader. Put him up against Donovan Stretch Williams. Anthony Edwards was on one side of the court. Donovan Stretch Williams and his Elkins High School was on the other side of the court. And it wasn't even close in the talent level. Because at the time, Donovan Stretch Williams, that was my way of helping him get a crack at a guy who was ranked number 1, number 2, number 3 in the country. Let Stretch get a chance, get a crack at Ant-Man. And let's see what Stretch gonna do. Stretch had moments. He had moments. But boy, you can just see the levels as you can see now. Ant-Man being an all-star now, and he's emerging into a superstar. Emerging into a superstar. And reading some of the comments right now, and so who would be? Give us some of your players. So, name some of the players that you think would be if they on the Olympic team? Of course, guys like KD, right? Bron, just saying, unless they turn it down, it's up to them. But just you know, on the Olympic team. You got KD, you got Bron, you got the Claw, Kawhi, right? Come on, keep going. Steph Curry, right? Keep going. Let's go some more. Let's go. Come on now. You don't tap out on me. Devin Booker. Who else we got? Who else we got? Come on, guys. You're slipping on me. I know it's a delay. I'm looking right now. I'm looking. Jimmy Butler. There we go. Keith Avery. I'm writing them down. Come on, you need somebody on the inside. You got Dame Lillard. Glenn Bishop has one for y'all. He says Harden. Let me tell you something, Bishop. I doubt very seriously James Harden is going to wear a USA basketball uniform again. I doubt very seriously that he will receive the invite, because there are so many different circles of people that's in the powers that be circles that are probably not going to, just going to block it, even if he's deserving of it. Dame Lillard, appreciate that. Eric Harrison. Who else we got? Aiden, but Aiden would be playing for his country with his country. He wouldn't be playing for the American. Tatum, there we go. We don't have no bigs. De'Aaron Fox, I think so. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We got 3 spots left. They have to go to front court, guys. They have to go to front court, guys. So Anthony Edwards would probably be, because he has that experience, and think about FIBA rules. You got to have a big guy that's kind of somewhat long and that can face up, that can hit a 3. That helps. Anybody disagree with that? I mentioned. Ooh. Wait a minute. We got a comment right here. Devin Booker got nothing on the Ant-Man. Tell you what he do have on him. Devin Booker has miles on his tires. He has more miles on his tires than the Ant-Man. I think that I'm looking up Devin Booker's. Trying to look up his shooting from this year, and can't find him in there among the leaders. What about Donovan Mitchell? Does he make it? Donovan Mitchell. Nobody said his name. But we got to get big. Come on, man. Let me tell you something, Coons. Reeves don't, although it would be cool, guess what, time would tell. He would have to, for Reeves to make the Olympic team, he would have to ball on out and become at least the number 2 option on this team right now, and then become the number 2 option with the Lakers by the time the season on the other side of the All-Star break. He would have to morph himself into that. Does Ja Morant go on there? It depends on what Ja Morant does this year when he comes back after the 25-game suspension. If he's that model citizen, if they can find a way to keep his father, learn how to just be politically correct for the time being. It's a time to keep it real, but they just be out of sight, out of mind is what you need from Ja Morant and his family right now. If he comes and he balls out, remember, you win, people get amnesia. They got to pay attention. But winning forgives most sins if you win it. So that's the thing with Ja Morant. He's definitely talented enough, right? Ain't no doubt about that. But we need bigs. Understand, when you're putting this team together, you need somebody. You got KD, Bron, Kawhi, Steph Curry, Booker, Jimmy Butler, Lillard, Tatum, De'Aaron Fox. Who's guarding the post? You got to have some defensives. Right? Who does Joel Embiid? He's going to play for his country, or is he going to play for America? Who would Joel Embiid play for? But I'm definitely Anthony Davis. You have to put him on that roster, guys. On this roster we're talking about right now. You got to. You got to. So now, who else though? Remember last Olympic they put what's the reserve? I think from the Lakers. I mean, that played. I think he had a viral video recently. He's been a reserve. I can't think his name. The one that has the one that got into it with Shaq and had the mom that played for USC. I think back in the days. You guys, I can't. His name slipped my mind. Okay, another possible Zion. Zion ain't defending the post. He's not protecting the rim. Brandon Ingram is a possible. Brandon Ingram is on this team right here. Somebody mentioned Brandon Ingram. Jeremy. Yeah, and I like that. But he's a possible. It's like Brandon Ingram like a queen if you beating the hand and spade or bid whist. It's a possible. Depending on if I got the ace or not, I'm counting that queen as a book. I'm gonna try to skate with that queen. This depends. Time will tell. Zion, time will tell. Jaren Jackson, he's on this team right here as well, right? So depends on what he does. But him and Brandon Ingram, aren't they like the same position? I would go Jackson over Ingram because of Jackson's. Remember, when you get these guys on the court together, they have to be able to play roles. They got to roll. Somebody's going to determine and designate themselves or morph into a specific role. In this case, I think that role would be better suited as a defender for Jackson. Now, at the same time, depending on he's playing international competition, some of these same guys that will, that will possibly qualify for the Olympics. If you can defend, your ability to consistently defend and be a star within that role right now could be his audition for the Olympic team. Because you don't have to be tall. You gotta have somebody to protect the rim, though. Remember, USA FIBA rules, you can get that ball off the rim. You know that, right? Some of you guys may have forgotten that. You can get it off the rim. Andre said, with LeBron on the team, put him at the post as well. And you know what? And I think that's LeBron on the team would be kind of that bench coach role now. You want him in the locker room. You want him on the team. Remember the Karl Malone when he made his last team? He was a bench coach on the Olympic team. I don't see LeBron playing a lot of minutes. I see LeBron playing maybe an 8 to 12 minute slot with the Olympics. This would be his swan song. He's not going to be. I don't think. Remember, that's a whole nother year away. It's 2024, next summer. I don't think that he would, then don't get it twisted. When bracket play comes, if he wants, he's a competitor. The one like, don't get it. He puts over $1 million to $2 million into his body every year. Yeah, thank you. The other guy we're talking about was JaVale McGee. Thanks, Keith Avery. We were talking about earlier. Remember, JaVale McGee was a reserve, and they put him on the Olympic team last time because they needed that length to protect the rim, just to keep things honest. And thanks, Daddy's Moody. Joel Embiid would play with Cameron. I figured he would play with his country. He wouldn't dare to come over here. He wouldn't be able to go back home. Jim, they said, what about Evan Mobley? Over who? Over Brandon Ingram? Over Jackson? Remember, over Zion? Nah. No, those are ratings. Evan Mobley got a chance. I'll put his name on the list of the possible, since you got two of you guys that nominated Evan Mobley. Bam? That's impossible. It's impossible. You got to have somebody else in that paint. Bam might be the guy that's young enough that's played against those guys. Or does Bam go and play for his country? He can go either way. Draymond, I don't think. Remember, Draymond was a role guy, was a bench coach on the last Olympic team. Draymond, that role, you only get one chance to be that bench coach. That's wasting the spot. Hell, they just make you a damn coach. Draymond, no, he's not going on this one. He sit this one out. Brook Lopez, that's impossible. But they will have to get another guy, and that other guy, think about that, lets you know, Bam, I like Bam. I like Bam. He's mobile enough, block shot. That is moving to say Chet Holmgren. Chet would have to tear the league up this year. He would have to get it in this year. Because guess what? Lord knows that this team could use one white face. It could use one white face on it. Be real. Could use one. Chet is impossible. But he would have to ball out. He would have to, this season, which is technically his rookie season, because he missed all last year hurt. Jared Allen, I think Jared lost some of his steam last year. I think Evan Mobley has stole Jared Allen's steam with that. So Lopez is an option, and he's a low maintenance guy. Robert Williams from the Celtics, hey Eric, that's a good possible. They'll be watching him. He's another good possible. I'm writing him down. A good possible. Athletic enough, aggressive enough, a real protector. His health, that's the whole thing. We can keep him healthy on through. It's not bad. So between Williams, Adebayo, Lopez, I don't think that Lopez, I don't want to say the word too old, but their system, I don't know. I like the Bam move on that. So as it stands, just tuning in, we were just naming who would you put on the Olympic team if it was to start right now. If it was to start right now, right? And understand, we're not. We just, it's the Chop Shop. And we're just going through it. Welcome on to this Women Rock Wednesday. And if you haven't done so, please share the show right now. Share the show if you haven't done so to your timelines, to your groups. I'm looking at some of the names. Of possible bigs that could have been there. We've named a few of them. The ones that we may have missed may have been Mitchell Robinson from New York. I mean, after all, Mitchell Robinson, he averaged 9.4 rebounds a game this season. More than Bam Adebayo. But I take Bam over Mitchell Robinson all day, every day. Robert Williams averaged 8.3. Oh man, you know who's gonna make that team? Wait a minute, let me look and see if I said his name yet. I mean, I'm disappointed in y'all. You know what? Y'all let Robert Hatter pausing y'all into thinking that this guy ain't he ain't worthy. You know what name y'all ain't said all day long? You know what name y'all ain't said? Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns, who has international experience, who's played USA basketball before, who averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds this year, lowest rebound output, but on his career, he's averaging 23 and 11 for his career. He's hungry enough. He's well rested after being injured most of last season. And this is a guy he's the length that can create problems as well. Cat. How could y'all miss that? Shame on y'all. No, man. Martin Brooks, I'm going to ask you to come to the front of the congregation. I got a couple of y'all. You and Joe Lewis. Y'all come on. And let me tell you why. This is why for Martin Brooks. Drummond. I love Drummond. Good dude. We kicked it during the NBA Top 100 camp this past summer. And he's going to be a coach soon. But like Drummond. But do you pick Drummond over Bam Adebayo? You picking Drummond over Karl Anthony Towns? You picking Drummond over Robert Williams right now? Joe Lewis, I'm telling you why I told you to come to the front of the congregation. This is why. Julius Randle ain't wearing no USA basketball uniform in the Olympics. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. The New York media has villainized him pretty much. Then think about it. He played for New York and LA. Both medias were happy he left, or got on him. He hadn't left New York Knicks yet, but it ain't likely. It ain't likely for Julius to be on this, unless I'm on this list. Put it like this, on this list. Now, he said Karl Anthony Towns is playing with the DR right now. And the DR, what are they doing? Did they win yesterday? They're winning. Eric Hauser can't defend his shadow. Boy, y'all. Robert Hatter say, 21-11 ain't terrible. 21-11 for his career. And you know what? That Minnesota team with Anthony Edwards proving his worth, and then you stable at the point guard spot with a seasoned veteran. That team now is going to be fighting for the 4 or the 5 spot. That Minnesota team, they may have home court advantage. Cat is back. I'm buying stock in Cat. I'm buying stock. I'm reading some of the comments now. Say, man, why are you reaching over here? Cooper flagged the bounce. No. The token would be Chet to this team. Remember, I told you this list it needs a white face on it for marketability. You need one. Chet would be first option up. Remember, Kevin Love, the ship done sailed for Kevin Love. So it ain't him. All right? There we go right there. We need a bet between Jimmy and Hat on Minnesota. I'm saying Minnesota 5th seed at the lowest. At the lowest, Minnesota 5th seed with this team. Now, of course, trades come through, and if Cat is there and Ant-Man is there, Minnesota 5th seed at the lowest. At the lowest. So, Gordon Brooks say Chet gonna play. That's what I'm saying. If Chet balls out this season, which that OKC team, and we talked about that last month. That OKC team, remember now, they were one of the 10, I think, this year. That's without Chet. This OKC team, I mean, of course, everybody, if they healthy, that's a free space in bingo. But if Chet has an incentive to do well this year, he has a prime incentive right in front of him. I'm talking about a shiny red apple straight from France that's with the Spurs, that's in front of him, that's dangling in front of him to play well, to do better than good. Because he gonna have to trump this guy. I think they might open the season against each other. Either that, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. It's gonna be personal. It's gonna be personal for a guy like Chet. Remember now, I understand, guys. I've seen Chet behind the curtain. I've seen some of the stuff that make him tick. That doesn't understand. All people get better. I ain't saw him play basketball in a couple of years. But I've seen him, and I know he ain't your ordinary. He ain't your ordinary white guy. He got a little something in him. That talking about extra octane in his gasoline, in his fuel. He ain't regular unleaded. So don't let the thinness smooth you. But one thing about him, he's had a year to get acclimated to all of the rigors of the NBA. That should be on his side. Should be on his side. And Mike Garcia say Tyler Hero could be that token. It could be. I doubt it. They don't. I doubt it. Could be, depending on what he does this season. The door's not closed on him because he has that chip in him too, that that can transfer over to the international play, right? And so, Mike Garcia asked the question. He says, "Who's my pick to win the World Cup?" I mean, I'm gonna go with this USA team till the wheels fall off. I'm gonna go with them. Who's your pick to win? I'm going with the USA. I mean, don't get it twisted. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy because Ant-Man is leading the way right now, and they've had one big dash of adversity. They had to overcome that 14-point deficit in the second half last week. I think it was against Greece, if I'm not mistaken, and win that one. But that wasn't necessarily a money game. It wasn't a bracket game. It wasn't lose, take your ass home game. The true merits will be earned in that bracket. Right? In that bracket. Yeah, Canada is definitely good as well now. I'm looking right now. I'm trying to look up some of the rosters. I'm looking right now. And we're talking about who can win this World Cup. Who do you think is going to win this World Cup? And I'm looking down on it right now. Doug say, y'all need to bring him on Thursday to talk high school football. Doug, you spend some of that time going to football, you can be great. Getting him. But that's Doug, that's his passion though. He loves watching those young boys play football in the high school ranks. There's a big game this weekend, Tascasita and Katy in football. Katy got tired of North Shore thumping that ass, so they went on and said, we're going to play a Tascasita now. Because that just, remember now, a couple of years ago, after North Shore and Katy game, there was some smack talking involving one of the quarterbacks of Katy. Then he later got caught on the video after another game against Katy Tompkins. And so I think it was probably in the best interest before, especially dealing with all of the after currents that goes on within the political realm, all these different types of baitings that's been going on. And I guess Katy felt it was in their best interest to move on and not play North Shore, which is a predominantly black team, and Katy's team is predominantly white. They both are perennial powerhouses on a national level. But and it's things that in the playoffs they normally don't face each other because they have two different divisions within the highest classification of football, Division 1 and Division 2. That has defined by the attendance on the different schools and blah blah blah. So they never face each other in the playoffs in recent years. That is added another one to the list, Shagil Alexandra. Oh man. I would think Kawhi would not even want to play. I would almost be willing to open up that slot. Say Kawhi would say, you know what, man, I'm gonna sit this out. I would think so. I would think so. I'm almost ready to scratch Kawhi off the list. You know, the Clippers shouldn't even want him to play. You should want him to just sit back and rest and get healthy as possible to give one good run on possibly yielding a return on their investment from the postseason. Right? Now, shortly, if you just tuned to the Chop Shop, we're going to talk. We're at the top of the hour right now. We're officially on the back nine. 8 minutes past the hour. 8 minutes past the hour. And we're going to talk Rucker on Wood shortly. Right? And looking right now, what I was looking for. Yeah, Doug, we open up as we do all the time when I'm on this solo, we'll open up these phone lines in just a second for you guys. And I'm going to get you guys the number in just a second. And we're going to get this thing popping. We're going to talk Ruck on Wood. Doug Jones has updated the the VIP news on rcsports.com. And in case you missed Ruck on Wood on Sunday, that was pretty much all of the media who covers amateur basketball in this area were present. Shout out to Chad Growth again for flying down from Phoenix, Arizona to study and evaluate and cover this open gym. The energy level was there, was up. The talent level was was a bit down, right? But you guys could definitely see, and there was different currents going on about who and why didn't. Oh, thanks, Doug. Shaggy Alexander, he's playing for Canada. So, yeah, we scratch him on off. That's right. Scratch him on off this possible list. Thanks a bunch, guys. I got that. And I'm reading the comments. Pulling up my Ruck on Wood notes for you guys. And some of the top players, you guys can share the show right now if you haven't done so. It's a good time to share the show so that some of these people can be able to hear their babies' names again. We talked about some the other day, and want to get back into it. That's what I'm looking at right now, is 2024, and this is 2025 I have in front of me. This open gym took place over at University of St. Thomas, and understand a lot of it has there's probably have not been a single Rucker on Wood that has generated more traction on social media than Rucker on Wood 2023. There's a lot of content that's out there, more than ever. let me say ever, wasn't no social media when Rock on Wood started. So, but it's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of kids that has received follows and DMs from college recruiters. That don't happen if they don't come out. That don't mean it's offers. But with some of these, what the objective is to just go and increase your exposure. First of all, you're going to play some open gym against some of your kids you ain't played before. We've been through all that. That's first and foremost. A lot of these kids have been led to believe that that some of the certain kids, if they play for other sneaker teams, that they're enemies. They don't like. This is where you can earn that respect at. And as we go through this, I was looking Jeffrey Day on his Ball So Hard website. He's put together a list of standouts whom he saw. And they include Jordan Buckner from South Houston High School, right? This is the class of 2025. A kid named Trey Lewis from Grand Oaks High School. And first of all, let me go back to Jordan Buckner. I read what G-Day says about him. Share the show right now. This is the perfect time to share it. That way, now we can go and this is the time, this is the moment. This helps. See, when we say a kid name, what it does is it helps that kid feel better about himself. That encourages and sometimes fuels that kid to go home and do the right thing at home. Take care and accomplish all of his chores in a timely manner. That motivates that kid to go and produce an abundant amount of positive energy, because now he's showing everybody that somebody gave him love. It's the love generation. In return, the parent, if the kid is performing, is feeling well and he's smiling, then the parent is saying, I'm happy as hell. My baby now, he didn't need no alarm clock to get up this morning. He's feeling good about himself. So that was a well spent $30. You see? So now we're going to say names. We're going to read some stuff that people wrote about them live on the Chop Shop. That's why I'm asking you, as you guys can share the show and you can tag some of these people, that way they know they're being talked about. They don't have to wait on you to tell them after the show, man, you should have saw it. They talked about your baby. Tell them right now. Jordan Buckner for South Houston High School. He's in 11th grade, right? And Jeffrey Day writes, Jordan continues to impress as a lead guard. Pace, poise, and persistence are just a few of his qualities as a point guard. Pace to control the flow, knowing when to speed it up and to slow it down. Poise never gets rattled and doesn't allow others to knock him off his game. The persistence part to win the matchup and win every game, every time he's on the floor. Very competitive with a great motor. Expect him to have a really big season for the Trojans. And he put video of this young man up under it. He's only 6 foot tall. That's average size for an 11th grade point guard recruit. And I watched him. I add something to that. He had that swag on the court. He kind of he had some of that, a flash, a splash. You know, you get a drink and get a splash or something. He had a splash of some Brandon Jennings in him. Not saying he was Brandon Jennings, but he had that type of swag that Brandon Jennings had when he would come on the court. You guys understand what I'm saying? Not comparing him to Brandon Jennings in regard to the physical aspect or the talent level. No, I'm talking about the aura of which when you saw him walk with the ball down the court, like the challenge that he was presenting to the everybody that got in front of him. This is what that young man, Jordan Buckner, did. Like him, time gonna tell. You know, they were in the Super 16, then they had to pull out. They're not in the season opener. They're not in the Hoops Giving Classic. They're not in the Third Ward Classic. So how this stuff works is, it's only so much love I can give that I'm going to give South Houston High School. We ain't playing in my events. That's just how the game goes. If I'm bold enough to say it right now to you guys, then that means now that should be a stripe on the sleeve, because most people ain't bold enough to say that. I'm going to show love. I'm just talking about the kid right now. Gave him 2.5 minutes of talk on the Chop Shop for 11th grader with no Division I offers. That might be a record. So can't say I ain't showing love. I'm saying that don't expect the premium love for him, because my obligation is to boost up the players of the teams that's playing in my events. That makes other people want to come to my events to see what the hell I've been talking about. Well, I'm going to boost you up to go play across the street so they can go watch you across the street. That's just real talk. And it ain't against no kid. It's just business. Business. Trey Lewis from Grand Oaks, I mentioned his name a while ago. Jeffrey Day writes he's a known shooter. As he was knocking down his shots, he was also blowing by opponents like it was nothing. Very quick first step. And ability to finish in traffic was very impressive. A couple of times it looked like he was above the rim, and he thought he was going to flush, and I thought he was going to flush it a couple of times. Trey Lewis played well. He competed at Ruck on Wood. He came late. He actually came as the guys had actually started playing. And we gave him a jersey. I remember number 5. And he went on and joined Team 3, who had lost both of their pool games before finally winning their first bracket game. Trey Lewis is about the same size as Jordan Buckner. He played with the Houston Defenders this past summer. He's going to be intriguing in that Grand Oaks team. Remember, that team surprised many people in Region 2 last season. In their district they beat the Woodlands. It's going to be interesting to see how Grand Oaks proceeds. Next up, he wrote about Michael Collins. Little Mike Collins. He's about 6'2" now. I'm going to read what Jeffrey Day wrote about him. So the one thing I love about this player's game is that he doesn't change the way he plays no matter what. If it's on the EYBL circuit or a setting like Ruck on Wood, he's going to use his physicality to get where he wants. He's going to make flashes passes. He's going to lock up defensively. When I read it, that's my first time reading it. First thing about Michael Collins is anytime a person gives an evaluation of him, it's going to be 2 words. It's going to be in every single evaluation, and that is, but either combination of 3 words: either hustle, competes, or defends. Some type of variation of defense or competing or hustling, you will see those 3 words in any evaluation of him. That means no matter where he plays at, no matter what team he's on, if he's on the floor, one or all of those 3 of what I mentioned, he's going to exhibit it. So that means his role, he can be a star in that role. However, on his high school team, he's going to be required to score as well. He's going to be required to generate and make plays as well for Shadow Creek High School. But right now, he's already in that mold as a recruitable Division I player because he's 6'2". He's strong. He embraces and he seeks out contact. And guess what? And he's seasoned with miles on his tires. A couple of other ones that Jeffrey Day mentioned. Joe Marcus Henderson from C.E. King High School. Right? Jamarcus Henderson showcased his athleticism on both sides of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, he was a menace. Tough on ball defensively and altering shots with his athleticism. He was also cleaning up on the glass. On the offensive end of the ball, he was looking to dunk every time. He also shot the ball well from the perimeter. Jamarcus Henderson, kid over at C.E. King High School, who's going to be a primary option of that offense this year. Congratulations to him. Last but not least, from Jeffrey Day, is Aiden Law, right? He's 6'2" at St. Thomas Episcopal High School. He says Aiden was hitting shots from every spot behind the arc like he was in a 3-point contest. His ball handling has improved also. He looks more comfortable with the ball in his hands. His ability to get a bucket opened up the floor for the rest of his teammates at the event. He even caught a body in the championship game. Excited to see him in their season opener in November as they play Empowering Others Prep. Aiden Law was comfortable playing in this open gym setting. He made plays in that dunk. A lot of people talk about that dunk, and which he rose up and punched it over a cat in the championship game. Aiden Law, I like. He's progressing moderately, and this summer is going to define his level of recruitment. Period. And you know, it is going to define. Keep making shots. People won't be able to ignore him. The consistency level of Aiden Law has to find itself in a dependable state. How consistent can he be in an organized setting? That's the thing, right? And I'm looking. Those were 5 guys that Jeffrey Day talked about, who just tuned to the Chop Shop, that G Day talked about on his Ball So Hard website. Now, Doug Jones also mentioned some players, right? He also mentioned some, and in the RCS Sports from Rucker on Wood, and he mentioned Aiden Law, right? Today. But I'm not going to tell you what he wrote today. You got to go in the VIP news for that. I'll give you some what he wrote yesterday about the 2024 class from Doug Jones. And these are in alphabetical order. Aaron Perez from Klein Collins High School. He shot the ball well. He also made plays at the rim. One of the best shooters in the city, right? Aiden Lewis from Lake Creek High School said, man, he was super impressive, just played hard and got buckets. He thrived in this setting. Alanthion Wynn from Little Cypress, Mauriceville, nicknamed Lant. He missed most of the summer with an injury, but man, did he make up for it. He was one of the top 3 players in this senior class session of Ruck on Wood. Bradley Kouassi, that's the 7'1", coordinated, rebounded well, and finished. More of a project, but not too far off. That's the 7-footer who was at Ruck on Wood the other day. Carter Seelinger. He had a very productive day of scoring and rebounding. That's what Doug Jones writes. Chris McDermott was his usual self, productive in caps. There's nothing he doesn't do well. Dalton White from Legacy Prep Christian, strong forward who uses solid body to get buckets. Also rebounded extremely well. D. Brian Broomfield from Westfield High School. The kid, as I've said in the past, is a terror at getting to the basket. His strong body allows him to finish through contact. Right? Next up is Dedrick Fikes. Dedrick is from Ben Davis High School. Said the strong forward was effective all day. Mid-range, down low, whatever. He just got it done. Next up we have Jace Jeffries from Concordia Lutheran. He was a key cog in their team winning the championship. Made mid-range jumpers as well as played a smart floor game. Javion Jacobs from Humble High School. These are all class of 2024. These are all seniors right now. Athletic wing who flew around and made plays. Also displayed a solid mid-range game. Justin Mack from Travis High School uses his exceptional speed to put pressure on defenses all day and made plays for himself and others. Nathan Congolo from A-Leaf Taylor High School. Super athletic wing who plays above the rim and also flies around defensively. Nathan Law. We mentioned Aiden Law earlier. This is Nathan Law right now. Nathan thrives in these types of settings, as this was no different. He uses athletic ability and also his scoring ability to shine. Sebastian Mackey from Westbury Christian High School played extremely well, knocked down jumpers and rebounded at a good clip. Wayman Hayes from Dobie High School. Waymo used his platform to get his game off. The point guard was very flashy and efficient. He was super impressive. Those are some of the guys that Doug Jones mentioned in the VIP news from the class of 2024. If you want to check out the 2025s in the VIP news, go and check that out right now, or when the show ends, I'm sorry. Go on over to rcssports.com and you can check those names out. Right now it's 30 minutes past the hour on the Chop Shop. We are talking Rucker on Wood. And let me see. And some of these are some of the names, of course, that I had mostly all these names on my list. I'm going to add a couple more on this 2024 that I saw balling in some of the games that I saw getting it off. Joshua Larry from South Houston High School. I like what I saw with Joshua Larry. He knocked down about, at one point he knocked down like 4 out of 5 3-pointers over a 2-game span. He was getting it in. It's going to be intriguing because this South Houston team I mentioned earlier, how they progress through this season. They should win their district. They should win their district this year and beyond. I got them 2 rounds deep in the playoffs, easy. That's my expectation for South Houston. Another young man that they didn't mention on here that I have on my list. Dylan Thompson. He went against Chris McDermott twice. Of course, McDermott's got the better end of the stick. But Dylan was competing, and Dylan was bringing the funk. And it wasn't just what he did. He just showed and proved his level of competitiveness and his aggressiveness. If he wants to rebound, he showed he can go in there and grab some rebounds if he wants to. Prefers to face up on the perimeter, but he caught my attention, especially going against the best in the area on the other day. Eric Woods, like what I saw from him, young fellow over at Nimitz High School. Logan Broussard, like what I saw from Logan. And he's did we mention? No, I think I just mentioned Logan. I'm over at Humble High School. I think I might have mentioned. I think Jeffrey Day might have written about him, if I'm not mistaken. But those are a couple of others whom caught my eye on the 2024 class. In the 2025 class, remember, I'll wait and I'll share some of them with you tomorrow, because that way Doug Jones mentions over a dozen of them in the VIP news. I mentioned 5 of them that Jeffrey Day wrote about earlier. And once again, congratulations to all those guys. Remember now, for everybody, I hope everybody, some of you people out there is keeping score and paying attention. Pay attention to how much exposure, how much ink, how many mentions, how much some of these young men are being talked about after going and playing in an open gym. Some of these young people have gotten their name called or gotten more views on videos from Rucker on Wood than they have the entire summer. Let that soak in. No matter what grassroots, I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying some of them that we've called. Right? And somebody asked the question, somebody says, who was, let me put the question up here. Where did it go? Here we go. So who was the big white kid, number 69? That was Nathan Law. That's Nate Law. Big meaning he's about 6'6", long, wiry, has broad shoulders. That's Nathan Law from St. Thomas Episcopal High School. We mentioned him earlier as Doug Jones wrote about him. He's a 12th grader right now, and he's a Division I prospect, and he's going to get it out of the mud, meaning that he'll have to go, one of those players that will have to go through his high school season, and hopefully he can produce some more interest of a program where he can go and play it. And that's the key to all that stuff. Going where you can be able to play. That's so important. Let's see. Yeah, that's somebody asking about. Herb said, I'm not sure why he's attending Cashmere though. The big guy. I'm not sure in regards to why he's attending there as well, but he had to go somewhere and where you'll be able to get in school. And I know that transcripts have been turned in, and they were being what they call it, converted over, I guess, over to the English from his country where he comes from. That's in regards to the 7'1" young man Bradley Kouassi, who's from France. So he has to go somewhere, and that's, you know, but he's in the 12th grade, so that's the thing about it. So wherever he goes, if he's officially enrolls at that public school, if he goes somewhere else, he will have to first produce a reason. If somebody deems that he chooses to transfer for basketball purposes, he will have to prove otherwise. Secondly, if it could be combined with him sitting out 15 days. So wherever he goes, and I mentioned earlier, he's likely going to red shirt wherever he goes into college. It's likely not going to play immediately as they get him acclimated to the American game after him having played FIBA rules all of his life. So now you have to get acclimated to playing without a shot clock for the first time. Then you got to get acclimated to playing back with one. So I don't see him being not necessarily a big deal. And Herb has given us some news that Nate has Division I offers, and he has 4 programs to choose from. So that's great news for Nate Law. Get those offers, get that letter of intent, sign it. You know? But yeah, Glenn, you say kids not go to any school and play their zone of schools. Now HISD is open enrollment. It's open enrollment in the Houston Independent School District. So if you live in that within side of that zone, you can pretty much go to any school that you want that first year. But at the same, especially if a school that you're zoned to is a low performing school. I think that's how the rule writes or reads. But he's going to Cashmere, which is, they made improvements, as did Wheatley, but at the same time, they're one of those 27 schools that district was taken over by the Texas Education Agency, the TEA, took over HISD, and a lot of those teachers had to reapply for their jobs. Coaches had to reapply for their jobs as well. So yeah, if you go over there, yes you can. If they got room for you, they got room for you. Now schools like, understand, other schools have magnet programs, like Yates has communications, you know, and some schools have, Lamar has a Vanguard program. That Sterling High School has an aviation program. So Booker T. Washington has an engineering program. There's various schools in HISD that has a one of those specialties that are school within a school. Shout out to John James. Welcome him to the Chop Shop. B. Scott said, "Don't got shot at Westbury Christian." B. Scott, B. Oh my God. Said, and so I'm looking at some of the comments right now. You're saying send him to Booker T. I didn't send him to Cashmere. Talking about the 7-footer. So I called his guardian the other day, yesterday, went to voicemail. I'm going to try to reach back out to him again and get an update. And somebody says he's the big Hispanic kid. And I don't know, you're talking about Michael Garcia. Yeah, give me a complete sentence on that one. So I know. Shout out to Ray Moore and live in the Chop Shop. And so I was just reading through some of the comments. If you guys haven't done so, share the show if you would. Of course, Robert Hatter, if you just tune in, he's over at the Texas Southern Prairie View Luncheon today, and that is taking place. It takes place every year in the wake of the Labor Day Classic. That games will be Saturday, 7 p.m. at the Shell Stadium. You know, it used to be named, it went through about 3 name changes, 3 different names in the past 5 years. And so now it's the Shell. It was the place where the soccer team plays at, located about 2 miles from Texas Southern University in what they know as Edo, East Downtown. And that's also about a quarter of a mile or a third of a mile from Minute Maid Field where the Houston Astros play at. So that game is 7 p.m. tip time, on kickoff time it is, on Friday. I'll give you guys some other stuff that's coming up. Of course, you guys know about the Super 16 extravaganza. That event is annually the Fall High School Championships. That schedule, if you download the RCS Sports app, you can get a hold of that. The schedule was put out a month ago. It's once again October the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. All games on October the 6th will be at Yates High School. On the other 2 days, it will be at the Sun Automotive Sports Complex, right? And once again, this Super 16, a lot of these young men whom we've named today will be playing in this event, and you can get a glimpse of them. Everybody will be playing without the services of their head coach. 99% of the teams that are in this, they, per rules of their governing bodies, the high school coaches can't sit on the bench for these types of fall ball events. But it's loaded. It's loaded. And even Doug Jones, he just mentioned a while ago, there's no gimme games at all. It's loaded. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of new faces at different schools. We have a lot of matchups that I can't wait to see. I think Hatter mentioned the other day, asked about is Wells going to go against John Clark? Well, on Friday, October the 6th at 8:30 p.m., we have Klein Kane versus St. Francis at Yates High School. Now, the thing is, on this particular game, that's Nigel versus John Clark. However, the grapevine is telling me that Nigel may get re-invited back to USA Basketball to the trials. And if Nigel gets invited to the trials, then he may not be present. Well, I keep more news on that coming next week. But without further ado, we have Robert Hatter just joining us from on location at the TSU Prairie View annual Labor Day Classic Luncheon. And he's live with us right now. Share the show right now to your, and we got what's going on over there. What you got?
What's up, everybody? You know, man, I hated to miss the show today, especially on Women Rock Wednesday. But this event that I was invited to today, I could not turn it down. I've never been to the touchdown. It's the Houston Touchdown Club. Give this, put on this thing every year, Jimmy. Andre Walker, I guess he's a member of the Touchdown Club. He was on the panel. We had the new president from TSU. She got up there and started talking about how the new president at Prairie View got up there and started talking about how Prairie View won 8 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
And our new president, interim president, she got up there and said, whoa. I know y'all talking about this 8 times in a row thing, but guess what? It was a point in time that we had won 11 times in a row. So we might just want to let y'all catch up a little bit. So they was going back and forth. But the highlight and the showstopper was Kevin Granger and the new AD over at Prairie View. He came on first and talked so much stuff, y'all. And then Kevin Granger just shut it down on it and told him, look here, we not only, this way he started it off with, our student athletes over here are just not student athletes. We had 2 student athletes that were the valedictorian and the salutatorian. So how about, now top that. Now y'all talk about all this stuff. All of our athletes had a 3.0 grade point average. So, it was unbelievable, man. I am so glad that I was invited. The Chop Shop was represented. Everybody from Prairie View, everybody from TSU, the alumni that were there. I got a chance to see Bubba McDowell. I got a chance to talk to Clarence McKinney. Jimmy, this game gonna be like no other game that y'all ever experienced.
And where's the location? Where are they?
Jimmy, you there?
Yeah, I say now. Where are they?
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Oh, at the Omni Hotel. The Omni Hotel in the Galleria area. That's where the food was absolutely great. Jimmy, from the salad to the main course to the dessert, everything was great. Let me tell you something. Omni, I hate to get Omni a commercial, but the Touchdown Club really outdid themselves this time.
What they had in the pots?
What they had in the pot? Oh, you talking about for the bet on the game?
Yeah. No, in the pot. What they had? What they put on the plates? What was in the pots? What was cooking?
What's in the pot? Okay. It started off with this beautiful salad. Then it came mashed potatoes with a breast of chicken on top of it with asparagus. It was just, Jimmy, I ate everything. It had a little gravy, some kind of little gravy they had over the chicken. It was unbelievable. And the dessert was cheesecake. You can't go wrong with cheesecake. And it was unbelievable, man. They had a great. I'm serious. Thank you, TSU Prairie View, for inviting me. Nate Griffin was the MC. He MC'd there. They had a tribute. They even spoke about Ralph Cooper. It was just so much stuff. And tomorrow I'll have I'm driving. I'm just leaving. And tomorrow I will have everything, the program in my hand, and tell you a little bit more about it tomorrow.
Yeah. So
get your tickets for this game. Let me tell y'all something. You don't go to this game. Oh my God. You're missing out on history. The coaches was going at it. Bubba McDowell and Clarence McKinney, they're 2 soft-spoken guys. But they were soft-spoken, but you can tell the fire in both of them, man. I can't wait.
And of course, that's Robert Hatter. Just tuned to the Chop Shop. He's live, just leaving away from the TSU Prairie View luncheon, and which was held at the Omni Hotel to this afternoon. And so now tomorrow they have another function on tomorrow, right?
I don't know. I don't know about the function tomorrow. I'm just doing them one at a time. They'll call me in a minute. They'll call me. And I got to tell y'all. Johnny Jones had on his ring, and Johnny Jones, every time you see it, he seemed like he had something. You sitting at my table, he seemed like he had something in his eye. The coach, let him see the ring. Man, coach showed that ring out all over the place to me. It was Byron Smith was there. I'm just coming. Byron Smith was there. The coach of the basketball team. Jimmy, it was just an amazing. Coach Skeet, our girls basketball team head coach was there. it's just, man, it was just unbelievable, man. If you have a chance to ever be invited to something like that, you've got to be able to go. I'm just so glad they took the time out to even think about the Chop Shop and think about us. And that what everybody was saying, Jimmy, you ain't on the Chop Shop right now. I said, Jimmy got it. Jimmy got it right now. So, yeah. So, but that's it.
That's. I mean, I was looking now, of course, in current events. We was talking earlier, and talking a little basketball and talking a little rock on wood, and
what y'all talking about?
but I'm looking now in breaking news that that referee Eric Lewis has been forced to retire after the NBA, and in exchange the NBA has just announced they're going no further on their investigation of him, right, about that social media, that burner account on social media that was tied to him. So obviously for him to retire, that means the burner account was indeed him, right? And that means they probably had more intel on him that they say, look, you can quit while you're ahead and retire, get your benefits gracefully, and we'll let bygones be bygones. What you think on that?
That sums up that he was riding dirty. He was riding dirty. He was tweeting dirty. I don't know how it did, but what it did, whatever he did, it was conduct detrimental to the league. When stuff happens like that, like in the Donahue case, the old guy, the referee, the referee Donahue, when it happened to him, I remember it just gave me this something is going on. Maybe y'all got to remember now, when the NBA gets bigger, don't forget the people involved in the NBA get bigger. The coaches, the agents, everybody around, the people who work in the front office. Everybody's profile is raised. And let me tell y'all something. When you get in these high-profile jobs, this is for the kids out there, or whoever, you get in these high-profile jobs, and you be put in these positions, don't let your talent take you somewhere your character can't keep you. I'm going to repeat that. Don't let your talent take you somewhere that your character cannot keep you. You'll be cool until you blow up. And you gotta understand, these referees have got more popular and got more powerful than they ever been. Jimmy, their compensation package is unbelievable. These refs make a whole lot of money. You know, you walk through the airport, everybody will know them now. The refs got their own groupies now. You follow me? So life has changed the way we know it because of the profile that the NBA has. I mean, it's just, hey, it is what it is.
And of course, it's referees. You know, I get to see a few of them every year at the top 100 camp, because they have a camp for the a lot of the G League refs are vying for spots in the NBA. So and some NBA guys on the bubble, they'll come in there referee some of those games to try to solidify their spots for the upcoming year, upcoming season that is. And that's big business. They take that stuff really, really serious. I remember one point, whereas the NBPA was thinking about condensing the games and moving the game around, they was like, oh no, we got this in the contract. We got to have this many games because that's business, because they schedule those guys to officiate so many games before they come and pay their money to attend that camp. So that's the NBA officials, man, whole different business. That's the peak of officiating. That's the dream for everybody that referees, is to one day be part of that group. I'm gonna ask next time how many of those refs, like we know how many NBA players there's been. I'm curious to know how many referees that there ever have been in the history of the NBA. I wonder if if they even have those statistics, which should be intriguing, to say the least. Talking about it would be dwarfed by the 5,000 or 4,000 and something NBA players that's ever suited up in the league.
Not necessarily, Jimmy, because there's not as many referees per year.
That's what I said. It would be dwarfed. It would be dwarfed.
Yeah, I got.
It would be dwarfed by that.
In other words, it'd be a small number. Okay,
Yeah.
I misread you. I'm sorry.
So that's going to be intriguing. But Al, as we get ready to land this plane, I'd save the best. I saved the best for last.
What happened?
I'm gonna tell you something. In case you didn't know. The Houston Astros, won 76 games. They lost 58, right? The Texas Rangers won 75 games, lost 57. The same as the Seattle Mariners. They're both.
Okay.
Astros won more games than both of them. We lost.
To play more. That's all.
We lost. Because we played 2 more games than them. So understand that's good for us now. That's good for us.
Okay.
That's
Why
2.
is that good for y'all?
Because it's 2 less games that we have to play, and basically we're tied with them.
I got it.
So we're tied with them and have to play 2 less games. Here's the deal. The Astros, for the first time this season, are tied for first place. For the first time this season, they've won 4 straight games, Howard. The Astros have. Right?
Okay.
As it stands, 4 games right now. And there's no team in the American League that has won 4 straight games right now. They're the hottest team in the American League right now. Is the Astros.
You're just enjoying yourself. Keep on going.
No. It gets even better than that. It gets even better. You know what? Last night, the Astros, of course, they opened up a can of whoopers on the Boston. On the rest.
They might have won.
Well, yeah, we turned it on when it counted, jumped on them early in the first inning with back-to-back home runs, and then never looked back. However, I'm proud to share with you, although he went that Michael Brantley made his debut with the Houston Astros last night. He went hitless, right? They batted him in the 6 spots, but he hit the ball well in the 2 times I saw him bat. He went 0 for 4. I only watched about half the game. Astros jumped out. I said they got the steering wheel from here. I let them go and take it on in. And I was proud of the fact that the bullpen did not give up any runs from the 7th to the 9th inning. That's been a rare occurrence for the Astros as of late. That's part of the thing. Once they get that bullpen and tighten it up, where we don't give up candy runs at the end of games, and we're good. I'm loving this lineup, Hatter. I'm telling you, Alvarez broke out of his slump. He had went something like 80 at-bats without a home run.
What?
No, maybe like 40. I said 80. Like something like that. Without a home run, yeah. Might have been 80. Something like that.
Just imagine if we had Tatis on this thing. I can't forget about it. I'm sorry. Just imagine.
You know the thing is, this lineup is so scary because of the fact that you have to realize Brantley played left field last night. And of course, if I'm the Astros, do they play him again tonight or let him take the day off? Because you had to go, and for him to play left field, then that means that Dubon played center field. And Dubon, he's been smacking that ball pretty good, and he's been reliable as hell for the Astros this season. But at the same time, you have what's our center fielder name? McCormick. McCormick had the night off, so he didn't play last night.
Please, Mindy on there. Tell Mindy I knew something about baseball. But keep going.
Shout out to Mindy. She can hear you. she can hear you. And so McCormick didn't play last night. Understand something. Diaz is the backup back catcher, Hatter. Diaz.
Okay.
Right? Just think about this. He's the backup back catcher. And do you realize that he set a record the other night for the Houston Astros? He's the backup back catcher. Get what I'm saying? He's the backup. He playing part-time behind now, and he has 19 home runs. There's no back catcher in the history of the Houston Astros since been the old Colt 45 days that had more than 19 home runs in one season. Season. And that's
what about my boy Kuna down there? If he get one more home run, he's gonna be the only person in history ever had hit 30 home runs and had a certain 60 something stolen base.
Hey man, Acuna is the front runner for the MVP this season. He's by far, they're the best team, the Atlanta Braves. And the thing about that is, we don't have to worry about the Atlanta Braves, as so much so as because they're before the Dodgers do, because that's on their side of the fence. And the Dodgers are playing great baseball as well. Mookie Betts is a runner-up candidate for MVP. So these two are front run. They're in the running. That's number 1A and 1B, and that's going to be something classic if we can see the Dodgers and the Braves in the postseason matched up against each other. That would be awesome. It'd be, remember now, the Dodgers got eliminated in the first round by the Padres a season ago. A Padres team who probably in dead last right now. But baseball is that time of the year. And speaking of that Astros, remember the Astros, the Rangers, and the Mariners are all tied for first place right now, guys. And just in case you're wondering, today the Astros will play the Red Sox at 3 o'clock. That game, 3 o'clock, actually first pitch will be 10 minutes after 3. At the same time, the Mariners are hosting the Oakland A's. They're in dead last. And then, of course, the Rangers will follow up this evening at New York Mets. And that game now will tip off at 5:40 p.m. So all eyes are on this race for the pennant for these three teams. Now, as I leave you with this hell of a stat, there's only about 35 games left in the season, right? And the last 10 of those games, Seattle must play on the road. How about that for scheduling? They have to play their last 10 games on the road. Guess what they have to play? 7 of those games are against the Rangers, and the 3 are against the Astros. Say it again. 7 against the Rangers, 3 against the Astros. We lost Hatter on that feed. But anyway, guys, it is definitely time. I got my baseball in for of course for Rod Wells. In case you was wondering, Rod Wells. You knew I wasn't gonna leave without talking about these strolls. Shout out to Miss Sandy Branch down there in ATL we holding it down on Women Rock Wednesday. Give you a shout out right there. And yes, it's still going down on the Chop Shop. Make sure, guys, it's time for you to share the show. If you haven't done so, give us a share right now to your groups, to your timelines. And Rod Wells says Mookie Betts should get MVP. No, dude. Acuna is without question the front runner for MVP. Understand something. Atlanta will win 100 games this season. The Dodgers probably is going to eclipse the 100-game mark as well. But the thing is, Atlanta has been far in front and kicking butt and comfortably kicking butt all season. And we'll see. It's going to be a close race. They have 35 games left approximately to prove who's the real MVP or who's going to earn that MVP in Major League Baseball this season. But other than that, guys, it is time to slide down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing on this Women Rock Wednesday. I thank everybody so much for joining us, and we're going to go and get it in. Don't forget, if you're a small business owner and if you would like to have your ad in the magazine for this year, make sure you go and send a DM to us or send an email to the Chop Shop, and we'll go. That email address, of course, is chopshophtx@gmail.com. That's chopshophtx@gmail.com, and you can, if you're interested in getting your business promoted or just supporting high school basketball, you can do so. We have half a page and full page opportunities. I want to say the half page is $275, and a whole page of glossy color advertising is only $350. Give us an email, chopshophtx@gmail.com, and we will be sure to get you back your ad letter, and so you can complete it and get your artwork in. But that is it for today. I thank you guys, and we're going to see you on tomorrow. Peace. We up out of here, and of course I'm up out of here for Robert Hatter. This is Jim Hicks, and we are the Chop Shop. See you guys on tomorrow. Peace. Let's see. There we go.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop.